Welcome you all to this new video. Today in this video we are going to learn about merging of two arrays. Now how can we do merging of two arrays, or what is meant by the term merging? Merging means combining two sorted arrays together into a single sorted array. It simply means we will be having two input arrays and both the arrays will be initially in the sorted order. And our target is to combine the elements of both these arrays into a single array so that that final resultant array will also be in a sorted form. Let us see how we can do this. So as I said, we will be having two input arrays, array A and array B. And both array A and array B, as you can see, are in sorted form. Array A at present holds 4 elements in it and array B holds 3 elements in it. Since both the arrays are in sorted form, and I am going to combine these elements into a single sorted array. So we must have an output array also, and that output array is labeled as C. And size of C should be large enough so that it can hold all the elements of array A and array B. So typically we can say the size of C should be equal to size of A plus size of B. Okay, now one more thing. As you can see, there are 4 elements in the array A and I have used a variable I in it. What does I indicate? I is a variable which is used to traverse along the array A. That means I points to each and every location of array A. And J is a variable which is used to point locations to array B. In short, if A points to the locations of array A, J points to the locations of array B. Similarly, our resultant array is also having positions in it. Then definitely the variable K used here will point to the locations of array C. So typically we are having 3 arrays, 2 input arrays and 1 output arrays. To be specific, both the input arrays are sorted. We are using I and J as variables to traverse along array A and array B, whereas K is a variable which is used to point to locations of array C. Let us see how this algorithm is going to work. First we need to compare the elements of array A and array B. So which all elements will be compared together? The ith element and the jth element will be compared with each other. That means ith elements means the element to which I is pointing. At present I is pointing to the first element of array A and J is pointing to the first element of array B. So ith element and jth element are compared with each other. Let us write it as A of I and B of J will be compared with each other. And we will see that which of them is smaller. A of I and B of J will be compared with each other and we need to find which of them is smaller. Once we identify the smallest element, then that smallest element should be moved to array C. So when the first element 1 of array A and the first element 2 of array B are compared with each other, we find that the smallest element is 1, which belongs to array A. Since 1 is the smallest element, that smallest element will be stored in array C. So remember, you have to always compare ith element of array A and jth element of array B. After comparison, the smallest element will be moved to array C. Hope you are clear up to this point. Now what? Now, once an element is stored in array C, you have to increment the value of K. That means K now points to the next position of the same array. So k has incremented and it is now pointing to the second position of the array. What about I and j? When we compared these two elements, the smallest element was belonged to array A. Definitely, since the smallest element was taken from array A, I should be incremented. So I am going to increment the value of I. So I will also point to next location. So these are the new locations where I, j and k are pointing. I is pointing to a new location because the previous location's value has already been taken. J has no change. K has been incremented. Now again the elements which we are going to compare are A of I is 3, B of j is 2. So now we will be comparing these two elements. That is 3 and 2. These two elements are compared with each other. Again find the smallest one. This time the smallest element is 2. Once the smallest element is identified, it will be moved to array C. Soon after the element is moved to array C, the value of k will be incremented and k is now pointing to the next location. Now, since after comparison, I have selected the smallest element from array B. Now it's time to shift the value of j. Okay, so since the smallest element belonged to array B, j will be incremented by 1. So you have to remember this rule. If I am selecting the smallest element from array A, then I will be incremented, or else if I am selecting the smallest element from array B, then j will be incremented. So this time, since the smallest element was selected from array B, j will be incremented and j is now pointing to the second element. So these are the new positions of I, j and k. Let us continue the comparison. This time these two elements will be compared. That means the element at second position of array A and the element at the second position of array B will be compared with each other. That means we are going to compare 3 and 4 with each other. This time the comparison says that when 3 and 4 are compared, 3 is smaller. Since 3 is smaller, the smallest element will be moved to array C. Soon after the smallest element is moved to array C, value of k should be incremented by 1. And now we have to either increment I or j. At this time, 3 belongs to array A. Since the smallest element belonged to array A, definitely I will be incremented. So I am going to increment the value of I. So I will be incremented and new value of I will be pointing to the location 3. Now I points to the third location of array A. Okay, again continuing the comparisons. This time these two elements will be compared. That means third element of array A and second element of array B are going to be compared with each other. And this time when 5 and 4 are compared with each other, definitely 4 is the smallest one. Since 4 is smaller, 4 will be moved to array C, and since element is stored in array C, k will be incremented and k will be pointing to next position of the array. After that, let us see which two elements were compared with each other. 5 and 4 were compared and 4 was smaller. Since 4 belonged to array B, definitely j will be incremented, and this time j points to the last location of array B. Again continuing the comparison, we are going to compare the ith and the jth element of array A and array B. So this time we will be comparing 5 and 6 together. When 5 and 6 are compared, we know that 5 is smaller. Since 5 is smaller, we are going to copy it down to the array C. 5 is copied to array C and k will be incremented by 1. K is incremented. Now we have found that when ith and jth element were compared with each other, 5 was smaller and 5 belonged to array A. So definitely I should also be increased. So we are going to increase the value of I. So this time value of I is incremented and I points to the last element of the array A. Again, we will be comparing these two elements. When ith and jth element are compared with each other, 7 and 6 are compared. We know that 6 is the smallest element. So 6 will be moved to array C. After that, k will be incremented and k is incremented. K now points to the next location of array C. And after comparison, since the smallest element was taken from array B, j will be incremented. J will be incremented, and this time J incremented and it is now loop out condition. That means all the elements from array B has been successfully copied to array C. There are no more elements left in array B to be copied, which clearly indicates that if out of two arrays, one of the array has been completely copied to array C, only one array is left, which was array A. And since there are no more elements left to perform the comparison operation, all the remaining elements of array A can be copied as it is to array C. Hope you understood what I said. We initially had only two arrays. Out of these two arrays, one array has been exhausted completely. All the elements of the second array has been completely copied to the resultant array. There are no more elements left in array B to be compared with the elements of first array. Since there is no element in the second array to be compared, we are only having first array and its elements. So without any comparison, since already the elements of array A were in sorted order, we need to do nothing. Simply copy the remaining elements of the array A to array C. So remember this concept. Out of two arrays, if any one array is exhausted completely, that means all the elements of one array has been completely copied to the resultant array, then without delay the second array elements can be copied as it is to the resultant array. So in this way I am going to copy down the remaining elements of array A. So there are only one element left in array A. So that element can be copied as it is to array C. Once it is copied, k also increments and k incremented to new position, which indicates that array C has come to an end and all the elements of A and B have been successfully copied to array C. So this is how merging operation works. Hope the concept being explained over here are clear to you. Keep watching the videos, support me, subscribe the channel if you are not yet subscribed, press the bell icon